Uh, so Dixon Hard Chrome, Francisco, tell us a little bit about it. I know you all located there in Southern California. Tell us about the facility, all that you all offer to your customers.
Yeah, Dixon Hard Chrome is being on, on the aerospace industry for the last 65 years plus. We do mostly plating for aerospace industry. We have hard chrome tanks
Mhm.
and thin dense hard chrome tanks. Our We have four tanks for hard chrome, two tanks for thin dense hard chrome, and those are mostly for again for aerospace industry. Our tanks only can fit parts less than 6 feet long and less than 75 pounds in weight. That means the setup we have is for small parts, but we're very capable to do masking for those little tiny pieces with hard masking, where we have a lot of
Mhm.
skilled employees that have learned how to mask out over the years. And
Right.
we very
Tiny fingers, right? Tiny fingers, right?
yes, yes, yes. And that's for the hard chrome. We have an electroless nickel medium phosphorus tank. We have cadmium, low and minimal cadmium, a bright cadmium, our tanks. We have copper, alkaline copper, for mostly for a stop off for nitrite. Or we do. We also do plate over aluminum, which we can use the copper or the nickel, and then probably customers they might ask for chrome plated after that. We have an NDT capabilities ourselves to just to keep it like a one-stop shop at Dixon Hard Chrome. So customers can send us the parts. We can do the MAC inspection or penetrant inspection before and in the middle or after the process. So it's convenience for the customers. So they can send parts. We do the MAC inspection. We do the plating. Then we do the final MAC and we send it out to the customers. We have a good relationship with the shot pinning chops capability, so that we can also do that because we can do
Oh,
the
okay.
stress relief for the bars. Then we can send that out for shot pin. Then they can come back. We can do the Mac, Chrome, and sometimes we have to put the CAD together. So sometimes we have parts that do require three processes. So
Mm.
you do the Chrome, then you do the electroless nickel, and then you do the cadmium, and that's very very convenient for the
Right.
customer, so they don't have to move that bars over and over and over.
Right.
And for all those parts, again, the setup is for small parts. We're very good with the masking. Uh, we're very good with the small parts, where maybe for a bigger other chops with different setup, they're going to be lost. So we're
Mhm.
very good with those ones. So we have a high volume uh, parts. That's what we do. We plate
Right.
around, I would say, 20,000 parts per month
Mm.
overall, and most of those parts they had to go to the NDT, passivate or MAC inspection or fluorescence inspection. That
Right.
mostly that Dixon does.
Right. I was gonna say that's a yeah, it's good. I said kind of a one stop. I know a lot of people think they're a one stop, and that's what you want to do, right? You're looking for those customers who want you to do possibly multiple applications, right? And there's not too many that do that, right? I mean, so that's a good feather in you all's cap to be able to do that type.
Yes, yes, and we do handle. So we are Nadcap for chemical processing and then
Hmm.
NDT, and we do have most prime approvals to do process. So we have Woodward, Triumph, Parker, we are the Points, we have Lockheed Martin, and we have many approvals for different primes. So for some processes, so for some specs, there might be only two or three shops in the United States to send the parts, like a low and minimal
Right.
cadmium. There's not many people doing it in the United States, so we are one of the ones. Like Thin Dense Chrome, the class 4 for the BAC 5709. There's not many companies doing it, and we are one of the ones, like plating over aluminum. We are one of the fewer, suppliers who can do that, and that, I mean, it's good for the customers. And when we see customers send us drawings and we see how many steps they have. Sometimes we offer and say, hey, we don't have a pain here. We don't grind the parts, but probably we can handle that one out. And you can take out that headache for you, so we can send it out to somebody we know for grind the parts, somebody who is approved, and they can grind the parts, and then we do the final next step to the part, and they can deliver that to the customer. So we try to avoid the hassle to the customer to start to think about where I'm gonna send my parts, and then I have to wait from here and here, and more movement, maybe transportation that's going to increase the lead time, and the time is important in the aerospace industry.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The time, and then, like you said, of shipping it around and getting to different people. But yeah, you're right. Of getting it done, you're probably cutting days and weeks off of returning that part to the manufacturer. Correct? It seems
Yes,
like it.
yes, 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 for sure. And I
Very.
mean, in Dixon, our every part is different,
Hmm.
and every requirement is different. And sometimes we can save time. Sometimes there is no way to save time, because
Right.
it is what it is. But yeah, we try to do our best. Dixon, we are now 57 employees, and I
Mm.
can say we are around close to 1,000 years experience altogether. We have long-term employees, and
Right.
that tells a lot. That tells a lot because those employees, including myself, we have been in this industry for many, many, many years, and we give the best of ourselves to give the best to the customers. To keep this industry alive.
Right, right. Yeah. I was going to say, so you were became president just a couple years ago, but you have a pretty extensive career in finishing, don't you? Kind of walk us through some of your experiences there that
Yeah,
you've
yeah,
had.
yeah. Well, my father owned a plating shop back in Colombia,
Hmm.
and he had the shop until 2014. But I started to have contact with the electroplating industry when I was 5 years old, when my parents took me to the shop. And then when I did my chemical engineering bachelor, and then I started to lead the company, and I was the operations manager there, and then I ended up by being the general
Mm.
manager. But we have five different locations in Colombia with that plating shop doing different plating services, where I was involved with all the
Right,
rectifiers, the floor, the setup, hiring the people, putting all the quality systems in place. So, and then I came here. I was in Vancouver, Canada, running electroplating shop as well.
hmm,
And then I came here to California to help out this and to grow. And that's really
right,
my focus. And it is my passion. It's something I like to do. I like the planing because always is something. It's very dynamic. You're always doing something
hmm.
new, and it change. And you train people, you coach people, you see how the people grow, and you grow with the people. That's very, very good.
Right. Yeah. Lots of challenges. I mean, I'm sure you get presented with them, and solving that is a treat. I guess sometimes when you know you've got the answer for it, you can pretty much. That's always good for business with that. Is your family business back in Colombia? Is it still running there, or is it? Is,
My father decided to sell the business.
Gotcha.
He wants to stay away. I got married and came here with my kids, so we make a new life here in the United States.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah. That's interesting because you've got an advanced degree, right? Is it engineering? Is that?
Yeah, chemical engineer.
But like you said, you've worked pretty much every spot in a plating operation, pretty much correct. You kind of know how everything runs there too, which is a good combination to have that technical training, uh, but also, you've got your hands dirty on the field in the shop a lot, right? I'm sure
Yes, yes, yes. That's
done
what
everything.
passionates. I mean, and I had to get involved with the water treatment, the pollution, all that kind. All is not what is the business for, but is a requirement, and you need to understand how to treat the water, and because
Right,
you understand the chemistry, what are you giving to the guys, or what kind of pH level you have to adjust and stuff like that. And same thing with the pollution. What can you do better to don't use that much water, or how can we reuse the water, stuff like that. So you put all
right,
those combinations together, right?
right. Yeah. So you were up in Canada running a shop, and I know that Dixon they got some new owners back. I think late in was it 2018 or something to that, and then did they kind of come looking for you, or how did you come to find the Dixon Hard Chrome
Yeah, yeah.
company?
They came. They looked for me where I was in Vancouver, and then I set the position in 2020, September 2021. I joined Dixon.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, and like I said, you do a lot, and in the aerospace industry, I know Southern California is very heavy on that of aerospace. I know a lot of people do, like you mentioned, you do smaller parts, but I know you got some people that do larger parts. Is that where you all found your niche, just sort of in those the high volume aerospace parts that you can do?
Yeah, they were definitely in that niche industry where our setup is how we build up, how the facility is for the size of the tanks, for the skill that the people have been acquired through the years is just for those small parts that sometimes for other people is not something easy to do. And that's what makes us very, very niche. And I believe sometimes customers they think or those little tiny parts, you have to send those parts to Dixon, don't
Right. Yeah, to get those there. The is aerospace the bulk of the work you do, or do you any other industries?
I would say that's 98%. We have
Right.
few customers, movies industries and
Mm,
oil and gas and motorcycle, but there's few customers that not frequent at all, but really, really majority is aerospace.
gotcha. Yeah. And I said, I know you guys have about 10,000, I think, square feet of your production facility. You got a lot of space for storage, right? Or storage. You got over 20 some thousand, right? I saw on your
Yes,
site that you had a lot of site with
yes,
that.
yes,
Is
yes, yes.
is that something that's a big requirement to have that with a lot of the parts coming in and out and things, and to have
We
that storage?
we use that storage for keeping the parts, waiting for to go into production, and we use that storage for chemicals, for the water treatment, stuff like that. We use that storage for equipment and spare parts, and we have an extra space if we ever grow up. We can always move our offices to
Mm,
somewhere a next space, and we can utilize our production over 10,000 square feet. We can always do that, and
right.
that's the vision. That's what we want to be. We want to grow. We want to put more tanks if possible, more processes, or get bigger, and we can always again move the offices if we want, just to make
Right.
bigger, grow.
Right. Yeah. I was going to say, yeah, it's got to be, you got that flexibility there. It's two things I want to ask you about is that, the name of the company, Hard Chrome, is something that, people see that name sometimes and they freeze up, right? They think that, and especially what's going on there in California, what they're doing and the rules that they've put in. And then, also working in aerospace, which, with Boeing and some of the other things where, I know there's a lot of orders to come down the years down the road, but it's a dicey industry to be in sometimes, isn't it? With
Yeah,
those.
people. I believe that people are scared with the hard chrome and chemicals and stuff like that. But if you go to shop, you feel safe.
Hmm.
Everything is being taken care of. We do a very good water treatment, and we have a very good pollution treatment as well. So people don't feel it really. I mean, we have employees that've been there for 45, 50
Right.
years, and
Right.
they're still there. They like it. So,
Right.
and they're healthy guys too. And as long you have, you comply, and we are comply with the rules, and we take very seriously the safety of the people, and we put all the controls that were is necessary to make sure that the people feel comfortable to work, and and once the people join the company and they do realize, oh, this is not what I was thinking about. And then you're gonna come up after one day, you're gonna come out with chrome in your faces and stuff like that. People they just start to feel comfortable and they just walk and they feel safe, and that tells a lot.
Right, right. Yeah, I was going to say definitely. I know you all have lots of processes, lots of services that you offer customers. Any that you've added in the most recent years, or are those pretty much what you've been having you've got cadmium and those type of things? But have you added anything recently, late last couple of years,
No, we
or
haven't had anything recently. Well, I mean, we can always. get more approvals for different customers or primes with the same tanks. We're
Right.
thinking about start to get the HBOF, the Chrome, excellent alternative for aerospace.
Hmm.
It is something new for us. We're exploring the option. We can add that one there to the company and start to learn from to that. Be prepare for the future. Uh, we were thinking to put back titanium cadmium process. We used to have it, and we
Hmm.
dropped that one. And probably we might put it back again. We need to do some market analysis and to see how much market is that for that process. But it was something that we did have for many years. Some customers they still require that one. There's not too many shops doing it. But again, we're doing a market analysis to see if that really worth it. And again, the HBOF, which is currently something that is not
Right.
the replacement, it's an alternative. Again, we might have to see how many customers they're gonna use, how many parts they're gonna switch from hard chrome to that alternative, which we don't know yet. I know it's being put in the drawings on some of the new parts, new programs, but we don't have really we might have to get more information for that.
Right, right. Yeah. We spoke about this earlier. With what California did as far as phasing out, and I know you've got a parent company that owns you all, and in talking to some of the finishers out there, I know some of them have talked about, some shops have closed, some shops have actually looked to or are planning to move out. Where do you all stand with that? You have to look. You've got bosses that are looking over your shoulder too. I mean, look 5, 10 years down the road. What do you think is going to happen, and what are you all preparing yourselves for?
Well, till now we need to operate and comply here at Dixon, California.
Hmm.
Uh, we also might look for succession plan to start to maybe not move, but maybe acquire a company in a nearby state, so we can start to work and start to transition some parts or customers in the meantime. But here at Dixon Hard Chrome, California, somebody, we're going to stay until 2039, and we're going to comply what we have to do. But yeah, eventually, uh, in the next 5 years, we might have to look for another company in a nearby state to support those customers. We already have the knowledge. We already have. The only thing is get an state, get a company, and start to educate and train the people, get approvals for different company. But yeah, most likely we will stay here. We still have the processes that are not phasing out, like as the cadmium, nickel, copper, NDT, but yeah, we don't want to lose that experience, that reputation we have for hard chrome,
Right. Yeah. Your customers, like I said, your customers are still going to want to come to you. Just it's a matter of servicing them and getting the parts to them and such with that. But yeah. And now, when you were at your previous, but had you been involved a lot with the aerospace finishes and stuff? Was this something new for you when you came to Dixon, or was that something you've been experienced with?
No, in Vancouver we did aerospace. Where the company was, we did aerospace. We're close by to Seattle, so we did a lot of Boeing and aerospace for Canada over and stuff like that too.
Right, right. So you mentioned, like, maybe seeking. I know you all have a lot of approvals, a lot of certifications and things like that. Walk me through that. Is it difficult to get approvals for, if you're going after another approval? What's that process like to do that?
Is tight. I think the primes they give the approvals based on the customer requirement when they don't have any other source to send
Mm,
the parts. When they do request that one, and once they find a source, then the primes are open to give the approvals. It's not like an open door where you just fill it up forms and give it that. No, it has to be by requirement. So that's been something over the years with Dixon, where what Dixon was open to do some parts and then say, well, let's give. let's give that approval to Dixon. What we had to do, okay, we had to add more testing, we had to do more control and stuff like that, and we were open to do it. That's why we have so many approvals now. But I believe
Right.
for the future, if we ever want to move to another state, will need to start from scratch to get approvals for another company in a nearby state. But I believe the customers they're gonna request it because they won't have more option. They will need to send parts somewhere else.
Right, right. I was going to say, do you ever, I guess, compare notes with some people in your family from Colombia that ran shops? Because what you're doing there is, I'm sure it's a lot different, right? A lot more requirements. Now you're president. You know, you've got, like you said, you've got to run a facility. You've got to hire people, keep them there, keep them trained. Sounds like you all have kept people there for a long time, so you treat them well with that. Like I said, you've got wastewater. You've got other regulations. There's a lot of things probably that you spend your day doing just besides finishing parts, right? I mean, you've got a
Yeah,
you know, a lot of other things. What's that like for you?
yeah. I mean, they're kind of similar. Where again is the goal is to keep the company running and grow. And the only way to grow is to 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 grow to coach the team to get the right people to do the right things. And you're always
Hmm.
looking for good employees to do the right things, and be open with the customers to see if they want to give you more. They can give you more parts on different processes. And in Colombia, we have the ISO 9001, which is it's a quality
Hmm.
system. We used to work for mostly electrical and automotive industry, which is kind of, they're kind of actually, and also the quality level. But it is very similar. The trade at the end is very similar. What the people is doing in the shop at the end is really similar. You use the same chemicals, pretty much. You use the same standards. The same recipe is doesn't change at all.
Right. Right. Yeah. I was going to say, yeah. You also do, I know you mentioned cadmium. Not too many people do cadmium these days. So that kind of gives you an advantage, right? That you can do that process and do it really well with that, then, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's definitely a niche industry, and not everybody does it. And it's not only cadmium. We do cadmium all over, but we
Mm.
also have the masking. And once you had to meet dimensions, and you had to check, you had to put maximum between this and this thickness. It's become more niche, because not too many people are, they have that experience and the knowledge to do it. And we kind of being grandfathered here at Dixon, and we know that we will have nobody else. It's going to be hard to get permits to have those
Right.
plannings. Even though you open a new shop, it will be very very hard to get a new permit. You will get new permits for hard chrome, but it will be very very hard to get permits for any other
Okay.
planning. So that makes us niche. And I mean, and the aerospace industry here in California is big, So I mean,
Right. Yeah, it's yeah, very very huge with that. You mentioned masking, and I know sometimes you might get parts in, and you look at them and you think, who engineered this part? And I mean, they must not have really thought about what the finish is, because it does get very detailed and intrinsic. Trying to get those parts, certain areas masked off, and those type of things, which again is an art form, I think, for some shops who sometimes can't do it correctly, but. Like I said, it sounds like you all could do it pretty good. You've got that experience with experienced people that can pull that off for you.
yes. Sometimes we have to work with the customer together, where sometimes we ask the customer, say, hey, probably you can do this step of machining after the plating, because it's going to be better for us. It's going to be better for you. So we work together with those parts, and that's all about getting a good relationship with the customer, so they understand that if we save time, they're going to save more time, and
Right.
time
Yeah.
is money, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, like I said, like you said, to get the part back the way they want it, but also, that, assisting them on, some of the engineering, I think always helps with that. Are you looking to add anything? Like I said, you've got a lot, right? I'm not sure what it is that you would want that you don't have now, but, like you said, I know you said you even do some fulfillment, I guess, but is there anything down the road that you would like to add, or add as a service, or is there something that you're looking at, or, uh,
Well, I mean, probably now our where we can get maybe bigger is we need to add more people to the shop to reduce that bottleneck we have for masking.
Right.
Are in regards to processes, perhaps the tie cut process
Mm,
and also perhaps their HBOF, the chrome,
right.
the
Right.
trident chrome cobalt. That's
Right.
where something thinking about the future.
Right.
Our
Yeah.
the tie cut is because we already have the permit to do it, and the HBOF it doesn't require the environmental permits.
Got
So
right.
those are the ones. And if we were thinking to add any other plating processes, would be tough due to the environmental restrictions. So that's where we are.
Right, right. Yeah, I was going to say. This is coming up. Let's see, to about 5 years, 4 years, 4 or 5 years. I guess now you've been the president of the company. What was the biggest surprise coming from the Vancouver area, or even come from the Columbia area? What's been the biggest surprise, I guess, coming there in Southern California and running a shop that size and everything? I'm sure there were some things that sort of that you enjoyed but didn't enjoy. But what were some of the bigger surprises that you found from where you were at previously with things?
I would say the setup and
Hmm.
and the masking thing. I
Right,
was really impressed or seeing parts. They're saying, "How do you make that one now?" And
right,
seeing how I seeing the people there. Really, you had to think people they might have to have the right, skill with the fingers. And
right,
I was really surprised with that one, with the masking and the tight tolerance we had to meet. We're talking about thousands of inches. Where
mm,
we only allowed to move the chrome for 1,000 inches. It's very very tough. But the people they figured it out how to do it, and they put the masking and they wash it. They use magnifying glasses to see to go the right way to the point, and they understand how much can the plating can move while it's in the tank. I
right,
was really impressed with that one, and the labor here in California is a very hard working labor. The people is reliable. They really care about what they're doing, and that's
right,
pretty good.
right. Yeah. How many do you have in your masking department? You said you had about 57 people. How many of those are in the masking
Uh,
department with that?
we have dedicated maskers, around 15.
Okay, that's a lot. Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
lot for
yeah,
that. Yeah,
it
yeah.
is.
It's always funny whenever I tour some shops and go through, and sometimes the owner will walk me through, and they'll kind of point over. Well, there's the masking department over there. Which but that really sounds like in your organization, and a lot of that's the heart and soul. That they have to get it right. They have to get it right, and they have to turn those parts around. Uh, as fast as they can to do that, but also take the time to do it right. And you can't speed that up sometimes the way it is, but that's really I feel one of the most important aspects of a finishing operation is that masking, right? To get it
It
done
is.
right, get it
It
right.
is, and it is like an art. That's something you don't learn in the school, right? Is you have the skill, you have the skill, and people they have the skill with experience. They can make it faster, and they can decide what kind of tape they're going to use or put parts together, or what kind of magnifying glass, what kind of light do I need to do this. Uh, but yeah, that's the most critical, because that's the one also takes most of the time. And if you don't mask it properly, then you lose everything else, right?
Right, right, yeah, and I've often found they really have to enjoy that what they're doing, because it can be very. I couldn't do it, but it's very tedious work, very detail oriented, and some
Oh,
people. I'm sure you've got people there that are just they really enjoy doing that aspect of it, and
oh
that's
yeah,
that's
they like it. I mean, and then we try to always switch. We cannot give 500 pieces to one person and expect they're gonna finish that one today. That's not gonna happen. We always switch jobs to say, hey, you can do a couple hours for this job, another couple hours for this job, different kinds of parts and shapes. So it will be hard to keep the pace doing for one person doing the same part or another. They're gonna make mistakes, so we had to switch that one. And they do enjoy the fact that they always doing different parts, and we do around 400 orders per month, and with different part numbers. and sometimes we get the same part number that gets masked in the different places. So that's is dynamic. So and the people like that.